Rich here. Welcome back to Finn's Garage. Back on YouTube, been gone for about 7 months due to an accident. We discussed that in another one of the videos earlier this week with Brandon Hart. Give him a like, give him a follow. So back, we're gonna start a new series of episodes called Throttle Talk in Finn's Garage. So wanted to bring you some content today. Really want to talk about it's just overall maintenance of how to take care of your bikes, what to do for oil changes, transmission changes, primary fluid changes, and just give you guys tips, hints, and really give you guys some guidelines. So wanted to chat through that today a little bit. And the reason for the video is if you're in the Facebook groups and you're in the forums and you're just watching the information and just the content that's being discussed or advice that's just given to people that want to work on their own bikes is not accurate at all times, and it's very concerning, right? And I encourage everybody to work on their own bikes. I encourage everybody to do your own oil changes because it gives you a sense of satisfaction, working on your own bike. So first thing I want to talk about is let's talk about just your oil changes, right? Harley recommends to change that oil every 5,000 miles. And what you'll see online is, people are going on there, right? Just have a bike. They may not know how to work on their bikes. They may be new to riding. They don't know. So they go on the groups and they ask, hey, how many quarts? How do I fill my oil? How do I check my oil? And sad to say, there's a lot of people out there that don't even know how to check their oil, right? So I'll run through that with you guys. I'll give you some advice. I'll tell you why you check it, and whether or not you check it at hot or cold, and I'll tell you the differences and why you want to do that. So first off, checking your oil. You always want to check your oil when the engine's hot. And when I mean hot, that means you went and rode it around, you got it up to your operating temperature, and that's the best time to check the oil. Because the way that system works, right, you have an oil pump, it's pushing oil all through the push rods, through the cylinder heads, it's pushing it through the oil cooler if you have an oil cooler. So you want to make sure that the oil is evenly distributed throughout the engine and it's hot when you check it, right? There's so many people that will check their oil when it's cold and it will look low just naturally by design, and they'll start throwing fluid in there and they'll get it up to the level and say, oh yeah, my oil's good. And then you see those same people commenting, why do I have oil coming out of my air intake? Why do I have oil splashed down the side of my bike? It's because you're overfilling it, right? 99% of the bikes out there, especially touring bikes, you have your filler gauge, and they have two settings, one for on the jiffy stand and one with the bike level. Softail models, you really only get to check it, on the jiffy stand. It's very rare that you'll see, both options. That's really just for touring. So the way you check your oil is get on the bike, go ride it. Don't just start it and let it run for just a minute or two. Get on the bike, run it, get it hot. Bring it back, keep it running. Put it back on the jiffy stand or put it level. Level will be more accurate, but most of us can't level our bikes without a lift or some sort of jack. So just get it on the jack stand, on the jiffy stand, and let it run for 2 to 3 minutes. Don't rev it, don't be throttle bombing it. Just get it hot, let it idle for 2 to 3 minutes, turn it off, then check it. You will see that level will be the most accurate level of how that oil is dispersed through your engine because it had time to circulate through the engine. It got a chance to get hot. Oil expands when it gets hot, right? When it's cold, it doesn't expand as well, so it gives a false indication. So again, get it hot, ride the bike for a couple miles, get it up to operating temperature, let it idle for 2 to 3 minutes. Don't throttle bomb it, don't give it throttle. Just let it sit there, turn it off, and then check the oil. If you need oil then go ahead and add whatever the level, or depending on how low you are, then just add the oil in. You'll see a lot of people say, oh yeah, I run it a quart low, or I run it, halfway through the, through the dipstick. And the reason why they're doing it is they're probably not checking it correctly, because they know if they fill it up and they don't measure their oil correctly, you're going to overflow it, it's going to come out of the air intake, and it's going to get on the side of the bike. You're overfilling it. Follow the simple direction, right? If you look in the owner's manual, There's primarily three detailed data specifications. One is your capacity, right? It's gonna say it's 5 quarts. That doesn't mean throw 5 quarts in it. You have your initial fill. Initial fill is just to get a baseline so the engine can operate in a safe condition while you do that hot check, right? That initial fill primarily on touring bikes, Softails, M8 platforms is roughly 4 quarts, right? So throw the 4 quarts on there, do a hot check, top it off. Do not go over the fill line, right? You definitely don't want to do that, right? So follow those steps. Let me know how it works for you, but that is the most accurate way to measure your oil. Don't listen to the people online telling you to check it when it's cold. Check it this way, check it this way. Follow those steps. You'll get the most accurate, consistent measurement. And you won't overfill your oil, okay? Types of oil that I like to use here in Finn's Garage is we primarily always use AMSOIL. AMSOIL is a great oil, especially down here. We're located in the Tampa Bay area. It gets extremely hot down here. People will tell you don't use synthetic, use the conventional because they say that the synthetic causes the engine to be a little bit more noisier. Well, it may be noisier for a couple reasons, and I'll talk through that here in a second. This is one of the top oils in the world. AMSOIL is a great oil. It's been around for many years. Never have any issues with it. Especially down in the hotter climates, this synthetic oil won't break down as fast as some of the other oils. So this is the one we use. If a customer wants to use any other oil, I'll honor that request and I'll put in what they want. But I always recommend AMSOIL oils there. Let's talk about oil filters for a second. So you got oil filters. And those of you that know or see, Harley, when the M8 engine first came out, had a shorter stack oil filter. Those oil filters filter at the 5 micron level, right? It has an extremely high efficiency rate, has an extremely high filtration rate, which could be a good thing, but it also could be a very bad thing. A couple years into that filter, now all the Harley filters that came out are now longer. And the reason for that is at that filtration rate, when you're filtering at that high of a level, the filters clog up faster, right? They create more pressure in the engine. When you create more clogs, you create more pressure. It's not a good thing on the engine. Oh, by the way, when you're in that condition, your engine's gonna sound a little bit noisier because you have more pressure in there. So what they did is they came out with a bigger filter, and basically what it did was avoid those filters to go into what they call bypass mode. Once it gets up to a certain PSI level in the engine, that filter will completely stop filtering, right? So if you don't change those filters, regularly, you don't monitor them and get those, fixed, your bike will go into bypass mode, and now you're not even filtering anything. So you just got oil that's circulating through. It's completely bypassing the filter. So Harley's fix was to give you a bigger filter, give you more surface area on the medium, that is filtering the oil. However, the AMSOIL filters or other filters like K&N, Wix is a great filter. This one particularly filters at 20 micron. 20 micron is perfectly safe for any engine, right? A lot of the high performance engines or builds in this case, you don't want that 5 micron because you want that oil to flow. You don't want to get all that pressure on there. 20 micron filters are perfectly fine. K&N has filters that go from 10 micron to 25. Wix also is a great filter. So me personally, I don't use the Harley filters. Why put yourself in a situation where that filter will potentially get clogged, go into bypass mode, and then you have no filtration. And especially those that are using those Harley filters and you're going over the 5,000 interval and you're hitting 6, 7, even 10,000 miles, your filter is probably not filtered anymore. So always recommend the AMSOIL filters. All right, another topic I want to talk about is your transmission, right? AMSOIL, what's good with AMSOIL, and by the way, I'm not getting sponsored by them or anything like that. I am an affiliate, I am a distributor for AMSOIL, but I don't get paid for this. I don't get paid for promoting their products. AMSOIL, unlike the Harley oils or some other oils where they say you can use the same oil in all 3 holes, they specifically make oil that's specifically made for your transmission. 99% of the transmissions take 28 ounces. There are some that take the full quart, so you'll see people on there say, oh, I just dump a whole quart in there. It's not really going to do any damage in the transmission. But just try to stick to the guidelines. 28 ounces. Your transmission fluid is always checked with the bike on a Jiffy stand. So just take note of that, and try the AMSOIL, and you may like it. Let me know. Shoot me a comment. Shoot me a like. All right, let's talk about primaries. This is a hot topic for me. This is one that I see so much wrong information online on the forums about primaries. I'm going to tell you this, and there's a little. Not every primary is created equal, right? You get a guy goes online looking for advice. He says, "Hey, I have a touring bike. I have a Softail. What do I throw? How much do I throw in my primary?" And 99% of the answer, everybody's going to tell you, throw a quart in there. Throw a quart in there and be done with it. Okay? Again, it's not the right answer. It depends on the model, depends on the year, depends on whether or not you have a touring, what type of touring, depends on your Softails. Softails, if you have a breakout, they have wide body primaries. Those primaries take over 42 ounces of fluid to be at the appropriate level, right? And the way you measure the oil is just very simple. Just open up that cover, bike needs to be level, and you just make sure the oil level touches the bottom of the clutch basket. It just needs to touch there. It's a bath-driven system, so the oil doesn't circulate like an engine oil does. It just splashes the oil around. So if you have a fat boy or a breakout and you're throwing just 32 ounces in there, you're 10 ounces underfilled. And then those same guys are on the forum, "Hey, why does my primary sound like shit? Why has it got all this noise in there? Why is it banging and clanging," right? And right away it's the compensator, which is a completely different subject. We'll talk about that on another episode. Your primary is underfilled. Fill it correctly. Touring bikes, again, some take 28 ounces, some take 32, some take 34. Is it going to be devastating to the primary if you're a couple ounces short or a couple ounces high? Probably not, but you definitely don't want to overfill them. And in this case, you're really not. You're kind of underfilling them in all cases. If you do overfill it, what you'll do is you have a symptom called clutch drag, and basically the clutch discs are building up friction between the discs because you have too much fluid in there. And as it gets hot, it creates some more of a friction, and your clutch will start to drag. But that rarely happens. It's mostly on the case of underfilling. So yeah, read your owner's manual. If you guys don't have an owner's manual, you don't have a service manual, send me a comment. I'll send it to you. Electronic PDFs, I don't mind. I want you guys doing the right thing for these bikes. And there's just so much wrong information out there, being spread. So anyway, wanted to share that with you guys today. And those that have came from twin cams to M8s, twin cams, we all know, is a smaller engine, takes a lot less oil, so your mindset may be still thinking twin cams. M8 is a completely different engine. So again, measure the oil correctly, make sure you follow the steps I talked about. Transmission, always check your transmission on the Jiffy stand. Primaries, always have to check when it's level, right? You can't put that on the kickstand because as soon as you take that cover off, the oil is going to flow out. So anyway, want to bring that to you. First episode of our new channel called Throttle Talk at Finn's Garage. Like, subscribe, hit me up if you need anything. I'm here for you. And any of you guys in the Tampa Bay area, hit me up, send me a request. Would love to do some work for you and take care of you the right way. Anyway, with that, peace out. Have a great day.